This is the Speak Your Peace podcast, a podcast for the people where we believe by speaking your truth, you can help others find their peace. I am your host, Kaleem Slayton, and I want to thank you for listening in. Be sure to find us on Instagram at __ Speak Your Peace. Let's go. Again, we want to thank you, everybody, for joining the Speak Your Peace podcast. We have 3 special guests today. I am Kaleem Slayton, your host, and to my left, we have the one and only
Shakira Clark, a.k.a. Shaq. Good morning, everyone. And Kaleem, thank you so much for having me be a part of this so important conversation. I am a multicultural queer, and I am from Toronto, Canada.
I love Toronto.
Yes, Toronto's nice.
Love that.
And then in front of me and to my right, we have...
Hello, everyone. My name is Travion Torbett, a.k.a. Trey, and I am me. That's all I can be. Yeah.
And last but not least...
You know, the one and only Kenyon Isaac, a.k.a. Ken, you know, I'm just that girl. So...
Okay, so, quick question. Shaq, we were having a conversation about a week ago, and I was like, well, Shaq, you identify as gay. And you said no. I identify as queer. Can you explain to me, the difference?
Yeah, so when I first decided, I knew I was always attracted to women. When I knew I was like, something's wrong, Shaq, there's no way that you're extremely attracted to women growing up in a Christian household. So to fit the narrative growing up, I was like, I'm a stud. That makes sense for me, and that's what I seen. So I was like, I'm a stud. So in other words, I was dressing the way a stud would dress, whatever that means now, acting the way a stud would act, so more masculine and more dominant. And then I realized, this is not me. It came off non-loving. Didn't know who I was. And then I decided that I own my identity. I don't have to be confined to an identity or a narrative based off of cis individuals that don't understand LGBT folks. So I'm I'm queer, right? Because I think a lot of people have this understanding of what being LGBT is. So when I identify as a lesbian, folks already understood what that meant. And now I get to own and I have autonomy over what my identity is, and now it allows me to have deeper conversations with folks about what my identity means, and they're not having this pre-notion about what my identity means. I get ownership of what that looks like and feels like. So that's why I'm queer, because I get to own it, right? And no one could label me on it, so yeah. So
you feel like when you first when you first started out, you were trying to be a stud, but that wasn't you.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was horrible. It was, and I think growing up, coming into the community, when I mean community, the LGBT community, the queer community, there's this image that you have to portray yourself to be a part of that community. So growing up, I was just like, oh my God, I knew I'm a part of this community. How do I get a part of it, right? It's just when you see now, the rap culture, you see all these celebrities drinking and smoking and doing drugs to be a part of that community. And at one point, I thought that's what I had to do to be a part of it. Okay. But that wasn't it. It was you could be queer and you could be yourself. You don't
it's I can dress like this, and I may resemble the characteristics of a stud, but I don't have to act or be a stud.
Correct. And gotcha. And I'm not a stud by any means. I am a queer individual that just hits the game strong.
Love that. Love that.
Right? And that's what makes it beautiful about who I am and how I navigate the world, is that people see me as multiple individuals, right? But I get to dictate how people see me and how I act in certain environments based off my social location. That's the beauty about being queer.
And what about, excuse me, say your names again for me?
Ken
and
Trey.
So Ken and Trey, how do you both identify?
Well, like I said before, I identify as me. I feel like labels box you off in a certain category to where you have to be what you're labeled as. And I feel as if I overexceed the characteristics and the dynamics of what I am. I don't have to.
I know that's right.
I don't have to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, look a certain way. One day I can be very masculine. The next day I can be very in the middle. The next day I can get very, very much fish.
What's fish?
Fish is very feminine, very much hair, makeup, nice beat face, a nice
beat,
teeth.
like everything.
Giving a very.
I can give that, but by me being myself, such as Shaq just said, I get to dictate how I act, how I look, how I present myself. And it's the best feeling in the world because I don't have to go out now and be like, okay, you're gay. No, sweetheart, I'm not. You are you, I'm me. We're two different people. You're in your category, I'm in my own category, boxed off to where no one can touch, tamper, nor destroy what I have going on.
Okay.
So that's how I identify.
And Ken?
But I don't like labels either.
Okay.
So I just identify as Kenyon. I had a situation yesterday and my dad's ex-wife asked me, do I identify as a woman now? I said, no, I identify as male, but at the same time, I'm me. I just wear wigs,
Nails is popping, by the way.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Just a quick 1-2 girls. They don't know. Nails, lashes. I'm just me. I love myself too much to be trying to. Don't get me wrong. I still like girls. Give me a quick 1-2 and a quick.
Straddle the fence, why don't you?
Little tongue action. But,
oh my god. Oh my god.
I still find females attractive, and I love that about myself. I don't like just one sex. Why not have the best of both worlds?
Why not?
Like, why not?
I saw a lot of people. Did y'all see the Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones stand up?
No, thank
I did
you.
not.
Yeah, I did.
I'm sorry to that man.
I'm sorry to this man.
I'm so sorry to that man.
Why you say that?
Certain stand-up comedians nowadays,
If it's not giving a very Monique,
or very much, what's his name? Lavelle Crawford. That's my favorite stand-up comedian. He is hilarious to the most hilarious ways. But majority of the stand-up comedians now, it's a hit and miss now.
I know a lot of people felt some type of way about his stand-up when he was talking about like riding in a car with the lesbian and the gay person as well as the queer. If you watched it, he has a skit like that, and a lot of people felt some type of way about it. And his response was like, "Well, it was a transgender person in the crowd who found it more funny than anybody." But he was receiving all this backlash for it. So that's why I was curious to see if you had seen it and how you felt about it.
I mean, I don't watch too much of that. I think cis people, and when I mean cis people,
What's cis?
Cisgender people, so individuals that are biologically born a male and self-identify as a male. So
I would be considered cis.
I would call you a straight cisgender male.
Okay.
So meaning that you are identify as straight, you are biologically born a man, and you self-identify as a man.
Okay.
Right? I think you all have unearned privileges, right? So I think when having these conversations, you all don't notice that you are being offensive, homophobia, transphobia, biphobia, because you don't have to. You're existing and living in a world that really caters to you, supports you, supports your identity. You're safe everywhere. When I mean safe, I mean that you can have these conversations and nothing's gonna happen to you, right? You can walk the streets and nothing's happening to you, right? You're not really looking over your shoulder, so you're unconsciously not aware of it. It's just like saying for white folks who are navigating the world, right? They're not seeing things because it's not happening to them, to their community, right? So some of the things they say is like, one, they don't know, they're not aware. And they don't know they're offensive because it's just not happening to them. So it's just like the same thing with, and I'm not saying all straight people are that way. Yeah, I'm not saying all straight people are that way, but some straight people are comfortable in that position because they have privilege, and no one wants to lose their privilege, right?
I know people, just like myself, for example, like sometimes you feel like you're walking on eggshells because you don't want to say the wrong thing. And I think, you know me, I've known you for 10 years now. We had a conversation, and I said transsexual, or I said transgender, and you were like, it's not transsexual, it's transgender. What's the difference? Because to me, it's just like, I don't know. And sometimes you feel like you're walking on eggshells and you don't want to be offensive.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think one thing is like not knowing and then deliberately using terminology,
ignorance,
and then say, "Oh, I don't know. I just used to say this." No, like get it right. Like my friends know,
or try to get it right.
Yes, my friends know that I do not tolerate individuals that are homophobic, transphobia, period. Like nothing. For me, transsexual is an outdated term. A lot of individuals, so like individuals that are like now like 40 and 50 and 60, and maybe some of the individuals that are close to high 30s are using transsexuals. Like if they identify as a transsexual, then they're gonna use it. But the more dated and a best way to identify a trans person is using transgender. So if you see an individual saying transgender female, transgender man, just asking them, like, that is the most appropriate thing to do.
And sometimes now the word transsexual is an offense word.
It is very much
And
so.
they use it as a word to either target or bring down that category or bring down that person. And like Shaq said, it's an outdated term, but it's also being a word that is bringing a negative connotation to the table.
Okay.
Correct. Very
So,
much so.
what would you say is the hardest part about just being you? Like, have you had people call you different types of names?
People who look at me and they see me, their number one favorite word is "you faggot." And before the word used to offend me, if I would hear the word, my number one reaction would be like, okay, let's fight, let's step in the field. But now,
Because he like,
My
look, you
favorite
call me what
sentence-
you want, but I
Yeah,
can still get down.
exactly. And the thing
my favorite
is,
sentence is, don't let this gay shit fool you.
do not let it fool you. And like I said, my thing is, don't let the bad bitchery fool you. And the thing is, that word now, if you was to call me a faggot right now, I will laugh in your face. Because
Literally.
the thing is, I'm
Comfortable with who I am.
strong enough now to know that, okay, faggot is nothing but, in the dictionary, a group of twigs. A group of twigs. Am I a group of twigs? I'm a human being. I am me. That's all I can be. I've been brought down. I've been jumped. I've been criticized. All that now, I push it over my shoulder.
You ain't been jumped just because you are you.
Just because I was gay. I've been stabbed. Like
Sheesh.
Saw that.
I've
She's
been
how old are you?
I'm only 20.
You can jump,
So-
stab.
I mean, he is a city girl.
Yeah.
No shade.
no shade, no pink lemonade.
I feel like
Him
to
Canada
touch up,
city girls.
you know.
Well,
To touch up on the situation, I feel as if most people try to fit in with straight cis. It doesn't click for me because you try to be the person you're not.
Clear.
Like, you're mad at me because I'm comfortable with who I am, basically, and you're not. You're DL. You're in the closet, and you nitpick with me is basically you trying to flirt with me, and that's not cute.
And the thing is, nowadays, when I see people trying to bring me and my twin down, it's just like, okay, but you were just trying to throw slight little hints that you wanted us the other day.
Yikes!
But when you're in front of your friends,
But you can't say, are y'all really twins?
no, we're not.
Oh.
But we just call each other twins. We have a very, very close relationship. If anything was to happen, 1 + 1 is 2. If my twin swing, I'm swinging too. But what I've been seeing lately is like just people are just negative, like negative connotation, negative attitudes, and it's like, I'm sorry that you're not happy with who you are. If you think that because you're unhappy, you're gonna make me unhappy, I'm so sorry to this man.
I love everyone. I love everyone. I don't have no beef with nobody. I'm a lovable person. Everyone loves me because I am who I am. So I love everyone.
And I think for me, like, and then I'm speaking from an I statement, and when I hear the word faggot to me, I don't think it's a very extremely offensive word, and it's used to target people that are part of the LGBT community or the queer community.
It's kind of like I'm labeling you that community, and I'm trying to say something to hurt you.
For me, it's like as offensive as a white person used the N word. So if a white person was in this room and called you a nigger, like, that's extremely offensive. There's a lot of history behind that word, and that's the same thing with the word faggot. LGBT community, there's a lot of history behind it. I think a lot of people don't see the connection. And some folks think, like, especially in pop culture, like, the N word is sometimes appropriate depending on who you are, and where you are, depending on whatever your race or ethnicity is. And I think that also is for individuals that use the F word too. And I don't even like to say it. That's how offensive it is for me in regards to.
I can say, as I was growing up, it's people that I looked up to, different athletes, motivational speakers, people like that, Les Brown, Eric Thomas's, people like that. Who did y'all look up to? Like, who are people that made you? Who are people that you saw living their best life and comfortable in their own skin that made you feel like I can do that?
My favorite person, my all-time, like, this favorite celebrity, favorite person has a great message. I love RuPaul. I'm sorry. My mom had messed around in the living room one day and turned to Logo TV, and I seen RuPaul's Drag Race on. I said, do not turn this channel.
Now, did she know? Did she know?
Oh, she didn't know. But I'm pretty sure.
How old were you?
I was like 12 or 13.
Oh, so you knew by then.
I sat down. I had told her, I was like, you know what? I like seeing this. I like seeing stuff like this. I like seeing people live their truth. And by me being in the house,
she said, "You will not turn this."
Yeah, you will
RuPaul
not.
just did that for entertainment.
He did it for
entertainment.
He did it for entertainment. But as you sit down and you actually look at RuPaul's history, RuPaul is not just an entertainer. He's an author. He's a life coach. He's like an activist. Like, he's very, very vocal for our community and for our straight affirming allies as well. And I love that about him. He's adamant about what he wants to see in the world. He's adamant about change. And he lets people know, okay, yes, I am a man in a wig and makeup, but I am me. You won't bring me down.
At all.
And it's not just him who's my idol. Todrick Hall, Beyonce. I love Todrick Hall is a phenomenal entertainer. Basically, the baby RuPaul.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Started from the very bottom. Auditioned for American Idol. Did not get chosen. Has self-produced and self-paid for all of his albums, all of his projects. I remember when Adele had her album, when she did her comeback album, he tops her album.
Oh, wow.
He sold out quicker than she did, and she's a Grammy-nominated artist, and he's an underrated artist. And I just love the message that he has in all his projects that, look, be you, nobody cares. It's a song he sings that I love called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And if you guys would ever just listen to that song, it's like a whole storyline,
So
and
the
I
album is
love
just
it.
dope.
The album is...
Girl, if he don't pay you, I'm going to know something. Come on, promo.
I'm telling you, Straight Outta Oz, I'm telling you, Forbidden, House Party 1 and 2, the best album of all times. But my last idol will have to be, even though we don't really get along too much or don't really speak, is my mom.
Okay. So when she found out? Because you said at 12 you knew, she didn't know.
I told my mom when I was 16.
And what'd that conversation go like?
Well, I told her, she said, if you don't get out of my face. So basically she laughed at it because she didn't think I was serious.
Uh-huh.
But as I got older, I was scared to tell her because, like Shaq had said earlier, Shaq is from like a Christian household. I was from a very religious household, like church Monday through Sunday, day and night. So like if I wasn't in church, I was in school, I was at home studying the Bible. So by me coming out to my parents, that was the most scariest thing because I used to be literally in my pastor's office every Sunday. My mom, something's wrong with him. So basically, I told her when I was 16, but she didn't really figure it out until one day my sisters got mad at me. We had an argument and we fell out. She said, Mom, Trey has a boyfriend.
Ooh.
So when my mom had told her, she didn't believe it, so she took my phone and went through all of our messages. She was disappointed.
I don't even know if I want my mom to look at my messages.
Yeah. I was fresh in high school, hormones all over the place. Some stuff was said in the messages that, wasn't very Christian-like, but she...
A quick one, too.
Yeah, a quick one, too. She was disappointed for a while, and to this day, she's still trying to understand and still trying to be willing to learn and accept the fact that her son is still her son, but her son is different.
Yeah.
And...
Or different than what she expected.
Yeah, than what she expected. And I can say one thing, every time my mom sees me, her favorite thing is to say, I'm sorry, because a lot of things that she let happen while I was growing up or said while I was growing up, she said, I'm sorry. If I would have known that you were going to turn out to be who you still turned out to be, I would have not let a lot of things happen to you. And
I'm sorry. And that's what I hate about black households is that there's this notion that if I raise you this way, then you wouldn't be gay.
Like parents feel like they did something wrong.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like I raised you a certain way, you should be this way.
And then now it tells us now that being queer and being ourselves is wrong.
It's nothing wrong with it.
So and that's what I don't like about living in black households, especially those that are from the Caribbean where I'm from. It's like because I didn't do this, now you're like who you are. Now your whole existence is wrong.
Did you experience a little bit of that shit?
Oh, of course. I mean, growing up in a multicultural household. So my mother's born and raised in Trinidad and Tobago, and then migrated with her family to New York shortly in her teenage years. Mm-hmm. And then my father was born and raised in Jamaica, and then shortly migrated to Canada, and that's where that's where my parents met. But essentially, like Trey mentioned, church was important to us. Like that was molded us, and that's what connected us as a family, in addition to our culture. But when I first realized who I was is when I went to America. When I came to school, and I was just like, oh my God, there's so much beautiful women. Like, this is who I am.
That's how I felt the same way.
I was like, oh my God.
Love that.
And then...
love that for you.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I came home, and there was a way that I was addressing, because like I mentioned previously in the conversations, that I was dressing a certain way, whatever that meant then. And I came home, and I was kind of like switching what I was wearing to be more feminine, and I just like, I can't. This is not me. This is just uncomfortable, right?
Doing like a dress,
yeah, it's like when I used to be
I can't
in
even
church.
picture it.
I cannot picture you in a dress.
I can't even picture myself now. Like when I used to go to church and I used to wear the stockings, I used to like kind of roll them down because they used to be extremely itchy and uncomfortable.
You needed some hooping shorts.
Oh my God, exactly what I needed, right?
Shaq still not seeing me on the court. I don't know.
If they back up, say, don't do that.
I don't
This is not the time
know.
to place,
I'm the
okay?
cheerleader. Go Shaq.
Shaq and hoop.
What? I cheer too. No shade.
So, I told my mom. I said, Mom, I'm gay. Like I'm gay, and she was like, what? And I kid you not, this is like, my mom is real old school, so she brought this Bible out, and it was
My mom did the same thing.
It was huge. It was like
huge and dusty.
it was huge. So
Huge and dusty.
she opened the Bible to wherever God destroyed the whole city, right? And
David
was like,
and Goliath.
God destroyed the whole city. I couldn't even imagine when, raising you that you would be this person. I said, what person? Like I'm exactly who I am, the same person, right? As you said, I'm changing who I love, right?
Did your
And that's
parents
it,
ever tell you
romantically.
that God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve?
I've heard that before.
I never heard that, but
Oh, my mom said that 24/7
but my
to
mom,
me.
but eventually my mom, like to this present day, my mom is way more open now. Like I talked to her about when I was dating now my wife. I would say
Shout out to your wife.
Shout out to
Come
my
on,
wife.
wife.
Come
I
on,
love her
wife.
so much.
I would just say
Amazing person.
I would say my wife's name, then I would say my girlfriend, then I would say my partner, and then I would say my wife. So she's gradually starting to understand and grasp the concept of me being in a relationship with a same-sex individual. But essentially, I was telling her, like, Mom, like, God is a loving individual. God is love, and love is God. So how can you preach to me that the word of the Bible, because I don't know much about the Bible, and parts of the Bible is fiction, right? Because it's gone through so many different hands. That's my opinion, right? I told her, I was like, Mom, like, I am who I was before, and I'm still can continue to provide and spread love anyway, regardless of who I am. And at that moment, she stopped and realized, like, you're right, Shaq, you're still the loving person, right? So she loves me, and we talk about gayness all the time.
Love
Queerness
that.
all
I
the time.
love that.
Now, Keon, when did you know?
See, I love hearing stories like this because me personally, I've never been like DL or in the closet. I always just been me.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, my mom, I guess you seen a picture of me the other day, and she asked my sister, so wasn't nobody gonna tell me my son out here dressing like a girl?
And how old are you now?
I'm 19, finna be
Okay.
20 in November. So it's like,
You said it like it's tomorrow.
Like it's
So-
tomorrow.
you know, I'm finna be 20 in November, but I've been grown. I don't know. And it's just like, I talked to my grandma the other day, and she was like, my sister moved back to New York. So she was like, do you want to talk to grandma? I was like, I had my wig on, I was beat. We're all to the boy. She was
Trying
like,
to pull something.
right. I was like, she don't want to see her grandson as a female. She said, I already seen it, Kenyon. I already seen it. I said, well, come on, grandma. Come on, Nana. Love that. So it's just like, when I first knew that I liked it, males.
And straddle defense with females.
Love that for you.
Love that. I was young.
So elementary, middle
You're
school.
still young.
Don't give me too much. But yeah, like elementary.
Okay, cool.
Elementary, probably the 4th or 5th grade. Going more than likely, but it really started kicking in during middle school.
When the hormones started picking up.
That's when hormones picking up, and
So you were just
dudes
sharing
just
your
start
snacks
dating
with all the guys.
I'm sorry.
Sharing
Basically,
juice boxes and gummy bears.
You know what I'm saying? I was real sweet.
Lord.
The guys love me, and they still do.
I love that for
So,
you.
Love that. But I just love hearing it. Like this guy I met a while back.
You said a while back
was-
like he old or something, but keep going. We're 19 years.
He
Like,
was there at the moment. Then he showed me that he told his mom that he came, like he was coming out or whatever. I was broken tears.
wow.
Because her response, you don't get many parents at all that says, I still love you. You
That's
are who you are. As long as you're being safe, I just want to make sure you're being safe. You're still my son. I still love you. I broke in tears. Because you don't get nobody nowadays that says that.
It's always a negative
It's
connotation.
always, oh, that's not who you are. I didn't raise you that way. We grew up in a church. So
Where did I go?
Or
but
you're
you
going to
can't put
hell,
words.
God don't love you.
You can't put words in God's mouth. At the end of the day, I'm still human. I'm still Kenyan, and God still loves me.
That's facts.
So it's like you can't. I feel like they try to put the LGBT plus community in a small little box, just a small little box that we all can't fit in. So when we break out, it's an issue, and I don't like that.
And it is like that. Definitely black households. I mean, I remember growing up, and my mom was just like, she was kind of like, if you don't have sex by 18, like I'm getting you a girl.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I'm just like,
I wish my parents would have said that.
Mind you, we've never had a conversation about anything, and I'm thinking in my head like, I like women, but at the same time, what if I didn't? You don't even know. Granted, great mother, everything like that. I appreciate everything, but it's just like you don't even know. And I have friends who just weren't out yet, and they just didn't want to tell their parents, And
I don't think I know because of how we navigate the world. Everything is polarized and everything is catered to cis straight individuals. So meaning if I look on the TV now and look at a healthy and loving relationship, I'm not seeing people that look like me and are dating people that look like me.
Exactly.
Right? Nor am I walking through the mall and being able to see families walk through the mall that represent who I am. Nor do I get to listen to music that does that. That is not. I'm not listening to music. I can't hear any music that is gonna that's showing a positive light to people that look like me in regards to relationships or just identities in general.
Yeah, and they use some of the labels that they give y'all in derogatory ways.
Yeah.
Like if you call somebody gay, you're using that person may not be gay, but you're using it in a derogatory way.
Yeah,
very much so. And growing up, like I love Jamaica. I love reggae music, and unconsciously and consciously, I was unaware that Jamaicans are the most homophobic country in the world, but they're like the most gayest. Like, there's guys that live in Jamaica now that wear pants as tight as me, that bleach their skin, that arch their eyes, like that are that come off feminine, right? But the moment that another man does that, it's like, oh yeah, he's a Batiman.
What's an Batiman?
A Batiman is a gay guy.
Okay.
Or a gay person, but it's but it's a very offensive word, and they attach being, say, if you are a rapist in Jamaica, you're considered a Batiman. So all of these negative connotations are attached to being a part of the queer community, and that's a part of music in general across the board, right? Like when Little Nas came out. Was it Little X Nas?
Yeah,
right?
That's my man right there. If you listen to this, we're gonna get married.
But it's like he could share his heart out in the music, and then when he comes out, so before he even came out, everyone loved him, and the moment he did, it was so
much hate and so much negativity.
Did he get a lot of hate and negativity?
He did a lot. People commented on his post. Oh, you should go kill yourself. You should die. We're going to stop listening to your music.
I believe the label even tried to drop him because he came out.
Exactly. But he has been sitting here stunting on all you hating hoes out here in the world.
Love that.
Stunting.
Love that.
With no hesitation.
None at all.
He does not care at all.
With the cowboy boots and the hat.
With the cowboy boots and the hat. Roz, he can't
Why
no more.
we can't no more? Come on.
But
y'all need to stop.
Don't get me started. But one thing I saw that really broke my heart with me growing up with being who I am was knowing that I had people out here just like me, but I couldn't get in contact with them. I had no connections and no resources. So basically, I had to figure out who I am, what I was, where I fitted by myself.
Speaking of that, let's give a shout out to Time Out Youth.
Yes, Time Out Youth Center. Come on,
Time Out.
Now, what is the Time Out Youth Center?
You all can tell what
Time Out Youth means a lot to me. I can guarantee you, if I would have not found Time Out Youth, I would be behind bars in jail somewhere.
No shade.
Because I've hurt somebody's child. They have taught me that it is okay to be you. It is okay to code switch when you want to code switch. We are here for you. You are not alone. You will always have a family. The family that you are born with will not have to be the family you have to stick with to the day you die. You can pick and choose your own family. And I've learned that love is love. And if you can't love yourself, just know that you have people here who love you and love what you want to do. They support everything you want to do. You can come in with your skin painted purple. Oh, you look good today, friend. That's what they'll tell you. They will accept you with open arms. I'm out there crying just sitting here talking about this.
So I'm sorry to interrupt. I know for the sake of time. So
No, we have till 10.
okay. So as I'm sitting in this room sharing space with these wonderful people, I want to know, Kaleem, what brought you this interest in knowing about the queer community? What brought you to?
I do want to commend you because a lot of straight males do not want to, understand.
They don't want to talk about it.
Because they think, oh, it's so wrong. I want to.
Or now I'm be labeled as a gay guy.
Exactly.
Oh, I want to be cool with my friends and don't bring him around me. That boy, I don't want to say the N word, but that boy gay. Don't bring him around me. If you bring him around me, we gonna fight.
Or we're not gonna be cool no more. And I really commend you for that.
Those people right there, them the ones that's
because somebody's out here listening and somebody's going to actually.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, so the first time somebody, a male flirted with me was in high school. And, I was just like, no. And this is the time I was still ignorant. And I was in my head thinking, like, what is it about me that made him think, I was gay or whatever. And at this time, I'm still homophobic. I'm still ignorant. And in 2010, I came to Charlotte and I started working at Buffalo Wild Wings. And it was 3 gay guys there. And they are some of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. They were funny. They were respectful. Right. Like, they made work easy, and I'm just like,
people don't we're still regular people.
Yeah, they're just regular people. I'm talking Lamar, Hassani, like they were great people working at Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's what changed for me. And then I had 2 friends who one didn't come out and one came out, and those 2 people were there for me more than a lot of my straight friends, and they were real and they were good, genuine, honest people. And then I had straight friends who were great dudes, but they didn't care to know. I think the stigmas that I heard a lot of them say is like they feel as though if you're gay, you like me. Like every gay guy's like you.
I hate that. Every time I walk down the street, what you looking at?
Stop looking at me.
I'm saying I've got my headphones and minding my business. I'm in my own world listening to Nicki Minaj. I'm listening to my mother. So I take my headphones out. Yikes. I take my headphones out and I say, "Excuse me, why you looking at me? I ain't want none of that, sir." I say, "Do I know you? No. So why will I be looking at you?"
My favorite thing to say is, come here, so let me tell you something here real quick. Boy, fuck you. Okay? And it's just like, we don't want everybody we look at.
We don't.
Yeah, why is that? Like, for me, like, growing up, too, like, I'm a very nice and genuine and loving person. Like, I lead with love. Like, everything I do is with love. I open doors and folks are like, does Shaq like me? No, I don't.
I feel like you should get to know me first.
I don't.
Before you just assume.
We don't do that for the straight community. I can't speak on the straight community because I'm not. I don't.
No, if you open the door, hold the door for a straight person.
You're nice and kind.
You're just nice and kind.
It was like in school, I'm sharing a crayon because you asked for a crayon, but you ain't want me to give it to you. Oh, because I'm gay.
And it's like nowadays, what I see is we have a lot of rude people. I can see like cisgendered people opening the door for each other, but as soon as I walk in, they let the door go, and I have to open it for myself.
It's every day.
Same, both black, everything like
that.
Yeah,
it is not. Don't get me wrong. I don't take much offense to it, but it's like, gee, like we're still human. I still bleed blood. I still put my pants on.
How you when we talk about uplifting the black community, how we gonna uplift the black community, but not those who have different sexual preferences than us? It shouldn't be that way. If we gonna uplift the black
preaching
community,
one love, black love this, black love that. We love everyone, but you're secluding.
Black lives matter, but not if they're gay.
That. Yeah, the social media does a bad job of sharing that information to the world, right? Because obviously we know the news is fake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
But social media has a job, and I think they don't understand how important they are in the lives of young people and people in general in regards to the message that they share to people and how they soak that information up.
I totally agree.
Like how you mentioned, right? Especially like I'm gonna put it out there. I love the Shade Room, I do, but the Shade Room gets on my damn nerves. You know why? Because they'll share all this information about empowering the black community,
but tearing us down at
and
the
then
same time.
At the same time, they say, "Oh, look at what the LGBT community wants." What do you mean what they want? We've been fighting for the last hundreds of years.
Let's not forget about Orlando.
To get equal rights, right? So when they're like,
rest in peace to those people.
They're trying to force being LGBT on us. No, you guys have been forcing us to be straight all our lives.
Exactly.
Right? Everything in the world is revolved around straight people.
And the minute we ask for something so minuscule, they make the biggest deal out of it. Oh, here they go again. Here go these rainbows right here. They want this, that, and the third. And we want the same thing, peace and equality. You all are moving in
unearned privilege. You guys, like being a straight man in America is a privilege, right? Let's just get that straight. And we're not even thinking about the individuals that are underprivileged. I mean, underserved. So we're not even talking about the transgender community. Like that in itself is a marginalized community, right? What frustrates me the most is that folks could say, I'm going to support this black person, but the moment that someone says that this person is part of this LGBT community, it's like, oh my God, now they want, what more do they want, right? What do you mean? Like, I can't, like, thank God I work at an LGBT serving agency where I can talk about my wife freely without being fired, right? Some folks can't do that at their jobs, right? You have that privilege to do that, and we don't. There's things there's a lot of things that and even in school, like when we talk about sex ed, like they don't talk about same-sex couples.
It's like, so cis. It's like so there. Cis. Like it's just straight.
There is a lot of privileges in regards to how you all navigate the world and how the world sees you, and not in exchange the other way around, right? So it's just like
y'all
so
have this humongous spotlight on y'all, but as soon as the spotlight, y'all have the spotlight for a very long time. We have a spotlight for 2 seconds, and it's took it back and put it back on y'all.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to say two things. One, Shaq, if you want to explain what Timeout Youth is and where you work, and then if y'all were speaking to black parents, what should black parents do if they do have children?
I'm not going to spend too much time on Timeout Youth just because I want y'all to talk about that. But Timeout Youth is an LGBT center for lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, questioning young people, ages 11 through 20. And then we provide additional service to folks 20 to 24. And we also provide space. We hold space for individuals that are allies to the LGBT community. So
shout out to our allies.
Yeah, there it is, right? So we're open 6 days
6 days?
6 days a week, yes.
We just started Saturdays.
So 6 days a week, we provide a number of programs and services to young people: housing support, school support, counseling, discussion groups. We have free Wi-Fi, which is important for young people. Yeah. We also have snacks.
Gotta have that Wi-Fi.
Got to.
Yes, that's important.
And it's located here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
Here in Charlotte.
3800 Monroe Road.
Thank you.
Come through.
I'm gonna let y'all talk about the black parents because that's important. So,
dear parents.
Perfect. Started like that. Dear parents.
I am me, and that's all I can be. When you look at me, I'm the same person you gave birth to, but with a different mindset. I still love the same way I loved before. I still think this. Well, no, I don't. My thinking may have changed. My behaviors may have changed, but my heart is still pure gold. I have the intentions of hurting no one, but bettering myself and bettering everything about myself while giving education to others when needed. I love you guys, and I want you guys to love me. Don't shame me for who I am. Thank you, parents.
And Kenya?
Not even just to say black parents, but all parents.
Come on now.
If you do have a son, a daughter, a grandchild that you do speculate that is, kind of gay, like not yourself, you didn't raise them this way, don't bash that person, try to abuse them, lock them in rooms, starve them. That's not the way to go.
Because if they can't turn to you, who can they turn to?
Okay. I just went to a game the other day from my old school, and the boy, he's 18 years old. He ran out the gym crying. I'm like, what's wrong? He said, my mom don't love me. She hate me because I'm gay. She told me she hate me. I should have never came out. Shouldn't be the person I am. Shouldn't be going out with who I go out with. That's not the way to go.
It's not.
Ma'am.
That is not the way to go. What you do, that's a real delicate situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just finding out who they are. So you can't just bash them because they're not the lifestyle you know. As you know, it's plenty of gay people in the world. It's not just your son or your daughter. Not to say like it's like lead by example, like what they seen. Like, it's not just that, because I didn't see none of that growing up. I'm just who I am. I love males and I love females.
And to add on to that, parents, our journeys and our path that we start to tread and walk on, it's not easy at all.
It's like the LGBT has to walk on eggshells just to be accepted.
Eggshells is an understatement. We're walking on a hot fire. And the thing is, we want your support. We want to know that our that your home that you've given
Right.
us is our home, our safe haven, not our hellhole.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to understand that when we leave your doors in the morning or whenever we leave your doors, we are walking into an environment that we are not familiar to, that we are not safe in. When you call and check on us, that gives us a peace of mind, letting us know that somebody is home, loving their children, wanting us to succeed, and wanting us to be who we truly are. Please understand that when we leave your doors and we leave your house, we are going into an environment that you have no clue about because you don't walk in our shoes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So please be understanding. Please have the mindset to be willing to understand and willing to learn.
And that's the key. I'm willing to learn. Again, I want to thank all y'all for coming on.
We thank you. Because this is very important.
I
There's
have
a
one
lot
more.
of
One more. I know we have 5 minutes. I just want to say one more thing about Black parents in general, and also we didn't really speak about brown folks too. Brown folks struggle too. Parents struggle too in regards to supporting their young people.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, the message that I would share to Black parents, because I'm a Black multicultural queer, is lean in discomfort. And be willing to learn regardless of what generation you grew up in. Also, be willing to ask questions, be willing to be loving, and when I mean loving, unconditional love, and not loving where it's going to be more harmful. And like Trey and Ken said, our identities were every time we walk out the door, we're not safe. So being mindful about sitting in your privilege and what that means in regards to how you're going to provide support. And then also too, on the flip side of that is being aware that like you sit in your privilege and you have privilege, and this is a person that you gave birth to, right? So regardless of who they're sleeping with, like love them. Like I had a client, not a client's parent, call me. A client's parent called me the other day and said that their parent was upset that they were a part of the LGBT community, and the mother was like, would you sleep in the bed with your child? And they were like, no. They're like, so why do you care who your child's sleeping in the bed with? Like, why does it matter, right? If you won't sleep in the bed with your child, why does it matter who they're sleeping with? Like, it shouldn't matter. To sum everything up, I love that you were able to shed light on this community, the queer community. There's more conversations that need to happen. This is just a start of a much larger conversation. And I just want to make sure that individuals that are listening to this podcast, like, we do not represent, we're a small vessel in the queer community. We do not represent the queer community. We are only speaking from our own experience. So don't look at this or listen to this podcast and like, oh my God, they're speaking for the large amount of LGBT folks or queer folks. It's not it. We're speaking from our identity, speaking from our experience.
All right.
So yeah, thank you.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all.